district. You know, we talked about a legal opinion last week that the governor's office accepted that said schools in the new Detroit Public Schools Community District could not be shut down for the next 3 years due to poor performance by the State Reform Office. Well, one Republican leader, Senate Majority Leader Alan Meekhoff, said he doesn't agree and he's considering all of the options, and one of them would be getting Bill Schuette involved to give a legal opinion here. Are we kind of messing the waters? Stephen, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I mean, I think this whole argument is miscast in the sense of, again, and I said this last week, I think, on the show, or maybe 2 weeks ago, this idea that the language that we use about schools and kids and teachers and performance, that, hey, let's shut down a school when it's not doing well, and there is a sub-narrative there that's punitive towards teachers, it's punitive toward Detroit, the idea that somehow Detroiters can't run their own schools. I think we would do well to change that narrative to talk about, okay, well, if a school is performing poorly, if it's failing over a long period of time, what do we do to turn it around? And maybe that's largely semantic, because you can't shut down that, you know, there are entire areas of the city that don't have any schools or have one. How are you going to shut the one school down if it's bad? The question is, how do you create a good school or more good schools in those areas? And we're not talking about that, I think, for specific reasons, because people in Lansing are not interested in doing that. That is the hard work of fixing Detroit, figuring out how to create quality options for people, as opposed to punishing teachers or administrators or Detroiters for schools that they see as insufficient.
At this point, it's not about failing or not failing. You've got 40,000 excess seats in Detroit. Right. If those aren't quickly, if that excess capacity isn't quickly taken out, if the infrastructure isn't right-sized to meet the actual student population, in 3 years, it's not going to matter, because they're going to be out of money again. I mean, that was the case people made when they were arguing for the Education Commission, that they would orderly close schools, because if you don't close schools, the cost of operating this system is going to break its back again. I don't know how the governor can, in good conscience, say, we're not going to do anything about this infrastructure for 3 years. I mean, he'll be gone by then, but this place will be dead flat broke in 3 years if it has to operate that many schools.
And it's 40,000 excess capacity, but entire areas of the city that have no schools. So it's a twin problem. You have too many seats in the wrong places.
So you need to move things around, but you absolutely have to trim capacity. Yeah. That's almost an extra seat for every student.
Well, two things that also stuck out for me as well would be the quote that Lansing has Detroit fatigue in terms of going back in the legislation and fixing that and saying, yes, these schools can perhaps be touched within 3 years. And the other thing was, now you've just got another Bill Schuette v. Rick Snyder political situation here again, which is, again, I think makes for an interesting dynamic.
Well, if the governor needed a legal opinion, I mean, protocol would have said, you go to the Attorney General. And I thought that was curious that they went to Miller Canfield instead of Bill Schuette to look for an opinion.
I don't think Rick Snyder and Bill Schuette are talking